time for another stream. I sound so stern, but it is really time for another stream. I think I got all my technology ducks in a row here. Yeah, that all seems fine. I think I need to twist this knob a little bit. Like that, maybe? I don't know. I suppose this is fine. You just gotta let me know if it keeps the audio's being weird. I will see. Hello, Arc Games. Nice to see you in the chat. And if anyone else said hello just now, I didn't see it because I had to refresh the page. Stream configuration quality, excellent. So Twitch tells me anyway. Camera seems fine. I think we're all set to go. Move some windows around and I'll be ready. So I'm sorry about not streaming last week. There was some stuff I had to deal with that wasn't fun at all, but it had to be done. And I'm back now, so I guess that counts. That is what counts. And also I have chocolate, so I'm set, I think. See if I can open this. Mega green lightning. Hello. My German, not very good. I would almost go so far as say that it's non-existent. Not quite, but damn close. Watching people eat on the internet. This is what all the professional radio personalities do. They eat stuff on air because it's very appealing to the audience. I hear. So I was thinking we'll make some video games today. And I actually had an impromptu little playtesting session yesterday or the day before yesterday, where I forced my office mates to play with me for a little bit. And I discovered a couple of things that I have added to my little to-do list here. The first big one is that players cannot respawn after being absorbed by the black hole, which is kind of not good. It's not something I had planned for. That looks a little bit like this. You drive with your little ship and you drive into the black hole and you go away and you cannot get back. Which I think we were going to deal with last week. I just think we never, or last stream, I just think we never got around to it. But it made playtesting quite a bit harder, so I actually had to revert to an older version of the game so we could play it properly. But that's what you have version control for. Other than that, I discovered a couple of things. So this guy that has been on the list for quite some time now, allow black hole to grab multiple things. Hello, Alex. Buonasera. It's really relevant. It doesn't matter that much when you're playing alone or even with two players. But as soon as you're 3 or 4 players, it gets to the point where there's like, because right now the black hole will only absorb one thing at a time. It will. Hello, the Mattis. Thanks for following. So the black hole will attract players always, like the soft attraction, and then when anything gets close enough, it will grab them, and there is no escaping, and will just drag them in. And this applies to asteroids as well. And we just drag them in and have them spin around for a little bit and then make them go away. Sorry about that. My voice is messed up. What was I saying? Oh, right, yeah. The black hole pulls stuff in, but it will only pull one thing at a time. So if two players enter the black hole, they will both be stuck there because the black hole special case gravity for players will hold them there, but they won't actually get absorbed until one after the other. And when you add asteroids as well into the mix, there's essentially a line to get stuff into the black hole. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to try and make it so that the black hole can grab multiple things at once. Either I just make it always do that, or I'll make it dynamically change depending on the number of players, or something. It's also really frustrating to be, let's see if I can reproduce it. It's really frustrating to get caught in the black hole only just. Okay, this is not going to work. And now I can't respawn. Okay, so we got two players here. Yellow player enters, pink player as well. Pink player is still stuck in here and can only respawn now. So there's like an added weird delay to that as well, which is kind of problematic. But what I'm thinking is I'm just going to make it attract any number of things, and we'll see what that feels like. And if I need to, I'll change it later. Because there is also a point to it working the way it does. Like the whole idea with it only attracting one thing at a time. Hello, Tampert, by the way. The whole idea behind it only attracting one thing at a time is that you can kind of do this. You can go in here with the asteroid and then you can like only just escape, which is like the intended behavior. And it does in fact, like if a player, and it will pick the closest thing, but it will prefer asteroids to players, I think. But that only really is a problem. I can't, let's have a look at that code. Attract, is that the one? No. Runs on a timer, because it doesn't run all the time. Handle check collision countdown complete. I remember we were in this function last time because it's named so terribly. Yeah, I'll check the asteroids first. So if there is an asteroid within range, it will do that, regardless if there's a player closer. If there's only a player within range, it will do the player. But before we do that, we're going to look into the spawning. So it's because we changed all of that. So before, when a player died, the instance, like their instance of the player class would get actually removed from the game. It would get deleted. And then when they pressed the button, we would just create a new one, just as we did the first time they entered the game. Now, because we moved stuff around a bit and we wanted teams and all that stuff, we decided it would make more sense to keep that instance around. So what happens the first time when you press like the activate button, which is this little function? I gotta check this out. Right, yeah, so first it checks, like, did anyone press the reset button, which is the start button on the controller that will always reset the game. That's true. it will trigger the reset and just bail out from this function. If that's not true, it will find the input instance for the player who pressed, and it will compare it to all the players that are available. If it finds a player that has that input, it will bail. Which made sense before, but it doesn't anymore. So we got to add something to this. I suppose this is like the spawn player code. So we'll make a function, put that in there. What do we need from this? I suppose we need an input. It's probably the only thing we need. So that should be identical to the way it was before. But the trick here is that if the player can't remember, are we using faded? I think we are. And the player is not faded, we will return. I think we are using faded. Let's take a look. So yeah, it's faded. Yeah. So if player is faded, we'll do the we'll unfade the player somehow. I don't think we have code to do that just yet. If not, we'll, God, that's a big mess. If not, we'll spawn a new player. I think that makes sense. Unknown identifier, player. Oh, right. So probably makes more sense to do it this way. Player is a player that is null. So for active in players, if players input, I love how I'm used to reading the code out loud and not really saying what I'm doing. So what I basically want to do is I want to find the player that is active. How did the playtesting go? It went well, I would say. It was very spontaneous. I'm going to do something more rigorous in a little while, I think. I got Nordic Game Conference coming up here, which means I'll probably have some people over. Maybe try and do something for that. We'll see. Kind of demands planning ahead a little bit, the playtesting, and that hasn't really been my forte lately. So now we work out if we have a player. Now I suppose we can go if right. So if player isn't faded, then we have no business here, and we just return. If not, we work out if this is the first player that will spawn. And then we check, like, is this player faded? Oops. So this comparison here is going to be like, is there a player? Did we find an active player? And is this player not faded? Then we're out of here. So we'll see how that works. Maybe, if this compiles. Nope. So it crashed. Right. It's because of that line. But we'll do debug mode regardless. I'm going to try and open my little window here because it's hot. Hopefully it just won't be car sounds in the microphone, but we'll see. Well, you'll see. I can't hear it. It's an awful lot of compiling. Okay. Crash. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it crashed here. Actually, come to think of it, I have a nice setup for this crash reporter. So if I put in the path to my files here, like this, it will actually understand what's up with that. And I can double click it in Flash Developer and just immediately go there. Here, null object reference. Oh, right. Yeah, so this is essentially that previous check, but the other way around. So if player is not null and the player is faded, unfade. Lots of null checking. So that worked. Add a second player as well. So now it should be tracing down here when I press unfade. That's good. So now that I come to think of it, it's probably a smarter idea to do something like this and just keep that code in here. Because we're going to need a random position. That's still staying. The team stuff, we'll get to that eventually. Can't remember. I suppose we'll name it respawn. Position. This will put the like responsibility of actually moving the player on the player itself, which I think makes sense. Now, respawn. Set collisions enabled. True. Or true. That's fine either way. I can't help but feel like I did this last time, but maybe I didn't. Actually, I forgot to go over what we did last time. We'll do that once we get this working. Set collisions enabled, blah, 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 blah. So I gotta look into how the fade thing works. That's gonna be on actor, I think. Fade is fading, fade cooldown. So I suppose it's fade cooldown that needs kicking. So you reset that. Then I just gotta set the position. Body. Set position. Do I have a converter thing for? I don't think I do. Because that position is probably in screen space, and I don't want that. I was wondering, Tempered is asking if I ever saw you talking at a design conference. That might have happened. I've spoken at like GDC and a bunch of smaller conferences as well. Most of my talks are on YouTube, so you might have seen them there. Okay, so now I'm gonna get eaten. Spion. Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's not what I meant to happen. I can so nearly grab that asteroid. Okay, so I just immediately get messed up again. So it's probably fading. Flash on the beach, I've done. That is entirely true. A long time ago now, like 2011 or something like that. Pew. Okay, so I am back, but I'm not rendering. I thought that was being set the other way around. Andy James Adams, hello. Okay, so something is making me invisible. No, I'm not invisible. I'm just very small. That's what's happening. And actually, I can tween that back just because it looks nice. This pretty short duration. Scale X1, scale Y1, ease, elastic, maybe. Bounce? No, elastic. I want ease out. It's probably going to need to be a little bit longer. There is chocolate all over my desk now. I like it. Pew! Sound stopped working. Okay, I'm also white. That also needs fixing. But I did respawn, and I am visible. And I kind of like the trail rendering going nuts. Because it is a little bit like, oh, you were here before, but now you're here. Spectrum is asking, will I always have the latest version at Humble Bundle? No, you won't. There hasn't actually been a release of this game since Humble Bundle. But once I get around to actually releasing it, sure. Because it is kind of broken now in many ways. I mean, it was before as well, but I don't really see any. Okay, so now I'm just going to fix the color. So that's probably going to be color transform. I think I could set that to null and it will just be fine. Into the pit. Splump went away. I'm still white. Okay. Black hole. I gotta look into how this actually works. Transform. Okay, how about new color transform? See if that works. No. Okay, so what is this thing doing? Black hole is doing a color transform. With the transform actuator. It is a color transform. I don't know why it is like that. We'll try it in the Flash version, see if that has the same behavior. Into the thing. It does. Okay. Do some breakpoints then. Respawn. So currently, the color or the transform. Oh, I think I know. I gotta look this up. It might be that I can't actually set the color transform itself, because this is blue multiplier. This is clearly being messed with. So if I bring up this little guy again, I just want to see what it does when it actually sets the value. So it gets the field called transform, and it sets that, so that should be fine. Oh well, I guess we'll step on here and see. But this color transform is for sure not the way it's supposed to be. And now it's fine. But that guy is still white. Mysterious. Do this little thing. Because it's probably setting a dirty flag somewhere or something that's making it either that or I'm stupid, which is entirely possible. I go white, and I hit the breakpoint. And we come back, and I'm still white. Okay. How about this then? Actuate, transform. See what that does. Okay, so now I'm black instead. This is a little bit strange. That's what I get for using the color transforms, I suppose. Should just do it myself. Which I might actually need to. Let's go into this guy, see what happened, what's happening in here. Lots of stuff. I don't want to be bothered with that. So this worked, but now I have a color filter on the player just to make it look normal, which I'm not sure that I'm super keen on. It's always the unexpected things. Did I? Yeah, you removed breakpoint. So I just want to see what this looks like now. And then I turn white? Okay. That's interesting. Black hole. So what I'm thinking is that it's actually still applying the old color transform to me when I respawn for some reason that isn't entirely clear. I don't want to remove all tweens, I just want to remove this tween. Stop this. I think passing no value removes all tweens for the object. So we do that first. We should just exclude that possibility. Yeah, that seemed to work. So if I do transform, color transform is a new color transform. Can't be afraid of repeating yourself. Into the pit. Yeah, that totally works. That's cool. I also kind of like that it goes blip when you respawn now. But that's actually fine having a tween for that. Just makes me feel more comfortable when I know that what was actually happening. So that we get the proper sound, and we get the little circle effect for respawning as well. First spawn seemed fine. That was not super fine. Why is that? Oh, it's using the X and Y positions of the player. we just move them. Here we go. Same thing here, actually. That's just for this X position here on the sound effect is really just for the stereo panning, but might as well. Whoops. Oh, right. Position might also be null. So maybe I kind of don't like having this special case thing for that. So maybe I'll just change the constructor of the player to always take a position. And then we just don't care where the circle is. Input, team, asteroids, collection, body, and we'll just add position here at the end. Oh no, I'm stuck on the asteroid. That seems fine. I can't really see any reason for forcibly delaying the player from respawning, because it's gonna take a while anyway, and the real punishment is not time as much as it will be just points. I think we can safely decree that respawning works now. That is not part of this commit. Commit. Players can now respawn again. This is probably, might as well update that to do before. Staged, updated, to do. Added path to crash reporter. And we'll just push that to the server. Here we go with the honking. This is what I get for opening the window. Just let me know if it's disturbing the stream in some fashion. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at what I actually did last week, or what we did last stream. So this is today. We don't care that much about today. We do have these commits. That's a lot of commits. Code for figuring out who's in the lead now deals with draws. Right, so the stream before last, we added little crowns, but they got really confused when there was a draw, so we fixed that. And we fixed the issue where players would be killed and they would be removed from the game. Like the game wouldn't update them anymore, but they would stay on the team. Like the team wouldn't be actually take them off. So upon like resetting the game, they would stay on the team. And then we sort of sidestepped that entire issue by fixing another thing, which is the thing that caused the bug we fixed just now. That was that players before would get killed, like actually removed from existence, and then recreated and re-added when they respawn. So we changed that and just disabled them instead. And then I did something that didn't seem very important. Right, and then we disable the inputs for anyone that is faded, which makes sense. And then we made the black hole disregard faded players, because if we didn't do that, it would just because the player still exists in the physics world and in the visual world, they're just hidden. The black hole would find them and try to attract them, and it will find them and try to attract them continuously because they would just stay there. So I had to disable that. And that was all I actually had time for last time. Now I'm out of tea. That is a problem if I've ever had one. So before I deal with the tea situation, I think we need to talk a little bit about what to do next. So another thing that I discovered while I was playtesting was that it's not immediately clear that you get minus points for being absorbed by the black hole. It's also very unclear how many minus points you get. I actually couldn't remember it myself. So it will give you 500k minus. 500 is a lot. Like a good round now would probably get you like slightly above 1000k. So it will take away a large amount of points, which is, I don't know. I'm thinking that is maybe a little bit too harsh. It would be kind of cool if it just took away half your points, I think. And maybe that would be a little bit more fair too, because it would be less harsh on players that aren't doing as well. And it's also like easy math to do in your head. Maybe not easy, but like it's easy to grasp. Like, okay, I had a lot of points before, and now I have half of a lot of points. And it would also make it hurt. Like, it would be a significant punishment, which is kind of what I want. You guys think about that. I'm going to compile the game and go get some more tea. Shouldn't take more than a minute. You can look at this while I'm gone. Beautiful. I'm back. Round up or round down on half K, says Andy James Adams. I would say round up. Why not? We just stole half your points. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be stuck arguing over half a K. I think let's do that change right now. I wonder where that actually happens. Here. Right. So instead of it being black hole score punish, it will be black hole score punish ratio. It will be a float, and it will be negative 0.5. And this will be player score times that. Value is an integer? Yeah. So it'll be math floor like that. So now I'm rounding down the deduction, which means rounding up the remainder. If I get myself some points, say like 150K. Actually, let's make it 300K. And then I get eaten. Oh no! Goes down to 150, I get eaten again. Goes down to 75, that's way better. That's so much better. Should have been like that always. $280K. $330. So one thing I don't have at all is friction on the asteroids, which is proven to be kind of an issue when you have, say, damn it. That really hurts when you get it, when you have a lot of points. When you're trying to do this thing, like you're trying to shove someone's asteroid into the... That's kind of tricky without friction. So I'm thinking I'm going to add a little bit of friction to the asteroids. Or to the players, rather, because I do kind of want the asteroids to slide on each other. I don't want them to get stuck. Like this kind of behavior is fine. But I am going to try adding some friction. But first, we need to commit the thing we just did. Black hole now takes half of your points when you get eaten. So I think almost all of the physics objects go through here. Dynamic body, shape, density. Friction. 1,000. I have no idea what this number is. Yeah, so that is friction-y for sure. Maybe a little bit too much. I'll look into it, Andy James Adams. If I said I wanted to floor it, that's what I wanted to do. So I don't mind you being nitpicky at all. Do player physics friction. Let's put it to 10. See what that feels like. It's an awful lot of recompiling. Gonna get a bunch of points for no one. Okay, so now I have 280. I need to get like an odd number. $72, that's still a round number, and I'm gonna get eaten anyway. 572. 572 divided by 2 is 286, so that's indeed correct. It's a lot of round numbers. 120 minus 4k. Can I get a minus 3k? Negative 30. Still a round number. Here we go, 95. So now I got 351. And that should be 175.5. So if this works the way I say it does, I should get 176 after this. I didn't. I don't know why. Actually, I can't do that because what I'm doing now is that I'm taking, this is like the exact equation I have. Player score 351. Well, it's actually times minus 0.5, but anyway, so minus 175.5. Oh, I get it. No, I don't. So this isn't going to work because depending on the way floor works, which I think it rounds towards 0. So this would be 175 to take away. So it's probably going to be ceiling here because it's negative. We'll try it, see what it feels like. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to spend any significant amount of time trying to fix this because it really does not matter at all. But it is worth looking into. That's how we learn things. 130. He sure likes round numbers. $1K. I think we, oh, if this doesn't work, I think I know how to fix it. So now we got 201. 201, not 2001. So what we want to get from this is 101. That's the number that should be in the lower left now. It is. This works correctly. Yep. So it's because these work differently depending if it's a negative or positive number. Like it's always rounding towards 0 or away from 0, as opposed to like just concatenating the number or just truncating the number, which would just cut off the numbers at the end. Excuse me for 1 second. But I'm glad we got that working. And I can start Skype for no reason. So that thing, luckily we didn't push that, so I can just go like that. Commit players now have friction. And that friction is only when touching another physics object. It's not actual like air friction or whatever. Okay. Wow, we've been going for an hour already. So one annoying thing about this multiple grabbing for the black hole is that it's kind of hard for me to test when it's just me. So I'd probably have to set up something to do it, like a way to like fire asteroids into the center or something like that. Which seems like work right now, but I guess what happens when players touch friction-wise shouldn't be all that different. They should just get slightly more stuck on each other. Like this. So in a way, it's actually more, you can shove around other players a little bit more. It's a little bit hard to do this with, there we go. Yeah, so if you're actively trying to sabotage someone, it's actually a little bit easier now. Which I kind of like. This thing, this bug, is still alive and kicking. I saw it yesterday. That means that once you get at least one asteroid, you cannot have less than 1K. I suppose that's correct, yeah. Which, that's fine. I guess it's a little bit confusing once you get down to 1K, but doesn't matter. I mean, when this game gets into the Olympics, we might fix that. But before that, I don't really care. So I'm gonna take a little look at having the black hole attract multiple things at once. It's really not made to do that. But it's fixable for sure. You just need to break it, because what happens is that it has one attractee, like the thing it's attached to, and it has one joint, because it actually creates a physics joint to the thing that it's trying to attract, so, and then changes the length of that joint to make it go in. And it has a couple of timers to do this. at least 2 of them. Yeah, the attract progress and the eat progress, because at first it's just like that goes in and then it goes spins in the middle for a while. So you got 2 timers, the thing that it's attracting, and the joints. All of those need to be split out into its own thing. Which I suppose shouldn't be all that hard. The only major difference is that we need to check when we're looking for new things to attract, we need to check if we are already attracting them and then ignore them. But that's no biggie, really. But this will reintroduce the problem of going into the black hole with an asteroid, going a little bit too far, and getting caught yourself, which is really just annoying. So I kind of don't want that. But I suppose there are several things I could do. I could make the range for the black hole a little bit shorter for players to make that less of a risk. But I also kind of like having a distinct border to the black hole. It's like if you go past this edge, it will eat you up. So I don't know. I suppose I could make it so that as long as the black hole has an asteroid, it will not grab players at all. That could probably work. This code here for rendering the black hole, that is just beautiful. A beautiful mess. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get started on this today because it's just too big of a... I mean, if it goes well, I can do it in half an hour, but I can't really test it without adding another half an hour of just crap to try it with. Which I'm not super keen on doing. So it might well be that this is actually the beginning of the end of this stream. See if I can crank up the brightness a little bit. Here we go. I need to check something before we quit. So next week should be just normal, possibly normal streaming. If I'm not streaming, well, there'll be something next week for sure. And then the week after that, it is the Nordic Game Conference, which might throw a big wrench into the streaming, but I'll figure something out. I think it's all good. Not many new followers today, just like 1 or 2, which is cool. I like that. That's more than 0. I'm not losing followers, so that's all good. As usual, this stream will go on YouTube, probably right after I'm done here. I'll just upload it and you can watch it after the fact. You can also watch it on Twitch for 2 weeks or something like that. And then they will delete it. Helpfully, they will delete it. What else? You can follow me on the tweeters. It's below here. You can find my YouTube channels there as well. If you have any questions, ask them in the chat. Which is probably that side. Yeah, everything's mirrored. It's very confusing. Ask them in the chat, or just bother me on Twitter or something. Someone said they were going to send me a game that I could try. And then I didn't receive anything. So if you were going to send me a game that you wanted me to try, I didn't get it. And I'm not ignoring you on purpose. I'm sorry. So if you haven't sent it, it's all fine. If you did send it and I haven't answered, send it again because I didn't get it. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's always fun to stream with you guys. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.